What is up, YouTube? It's Edward6 here today, and as you can see, we are not in our typical location. Today, what we're doing is the question and answer. I wanted to do this a couple days ago, but due to travel situation and a couple other things, it didn't work out. So instead of completely ditching you guys altogether, like some people, I'm going to do this real quick. I only have a few minutes, so I'm going to do this as fast as possible and try to answer all your guys' questions. I only asked for about 10 questions, and I actually got a lot more than 10. I hope you guys all get what you were looking for out of these questions. Um, but yeah, let's jump into that real quick. So the first question was asked by a friend of mine. Her name's Cass, or Cassidy.Ricky on Instagram. And her question was, how did you first get into punk? Now, when I first got into punk, I was about 17 years old. And I actually met my first punk at the homeless shelter I was living at. And he was a cool guy. He took me under his wing. And I was like a little emo Tumblr trash fuck boy, basically. And in all honesty, he really made me realize that I was more happy with myself by expressing myself more. And when I started listening to actual like punk rock music, some of the bands that I was listening to, I actually started relating more to the music than I did like emo bands and like post hardcore bands, stuff like that. And I really, got into all that music much. I listened to it in high school, but after high school, I never really listened to it. And I met a buddy of mine. He took me under his wing and changed me from being this little emo Tumblr trash fuckboy to being the punk I am today. Um, he took me to a bunch of shows, showed me um the lifestyle basically, and hanging around with him and a bunch of other punks. And I always admired the punks that I knew in high school, and I always wanted to be like them, but I always thought I never could be. And I ended up meeting this guy at the shelter, and I became who I am today. He really is the reason why I'm who I am today. And I appreciate everything he did for me. Next question is asked by a friend of mine whose name is Sky, or underscore YKS. Shout out to her for some of her clothing work, some of the artwork she's done, some of the stuff she's done. Really good friend of mine, great person all around. And her first question, because she asked 3 questions, was when did you start skateboarding? I started skateboarding when my mom bought me my first skateboard when I was 10 years old. She bought me a little board from the thrift store, and my brother was into skateboarding, and I really got into it after that. I never really did much with it until I moved to Utah from Virginia, and I really got big into skateboarding in late 2013, 2014. Late 2013, early 2014 is when I really got into skateboarding, and I really started dedicating everything I had to it. Um, I was in foster care at that time, and I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be at the foster home. And I didn't want to be anywhere else. I couldn't go to concerts. I couldn't have fun with friends. And the one outlet I found was skateboarding, and they pushed it on me, and they really thought I was good at it. I did a couple competitions, got pretty good at it for a while. It was fun. I liked it. And that's really what got me into skateboarding. I ended up getting pretty big for a while. I ended up semi-pro for a while, and I got into an accident, and I had an injury that stopped me. It did some damage, and I ended up stopping skateboarding for about 6 years. Well, I should say about 4 years. I bought a board after the 4 year mark, and then I didn't really start skating again for another 2 years. The board sat in my room for 2 years, and then I was like, you know what? I'll go to the skate park and try it. I got bigger into skateboarding after my injury than I did before. At what age did you start discovering your style? And this was asked by Sky again. And I would say I started realizing my style, and this is kind of a double sided question. Because when I skateboard, I don't wear skinny jeans or jeans with patches and stuff on them because I don't want to ruin that. I like them. They're crust pants. They're meant to be ruined, but I don't want to ruin all the work I've put into it. One pair of pants. So when I skateboard, I usually wear like early 2000s wear, big baggy shoes, big bulky shoes, big baggy jeans, baggy t-shirts, stuff like that, beanies. I've always dressed like that my whole life. I've always dressed like that. It's kind of like my permanent style. I've always dressed like that. Parents always shop for me at thrift stores. So that's how that became a thing. And I always admire the early 2000s like skater wear. It's always the most comfortable stuff, and it's always great to skate in. The punk style, I didn't start discovering more my punk style until I was 17 and I met my buddy at the shelter. And that goes back to the very first question of the video. And the last question asked by Sky was, what does your average day look like? My average day consists of wake up, usually in the afternoon. And if it's a day off, usually it consists, I'll put it as a day off instead of a work day because work days are boring. My usual days that I have to myself are usually I wake up 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon, whenever I wake up in the afternoon because I'm up pretty late at night. And I get dressed, eat a little bit of food, smoke a little bit, get up, and I end up going up to the skate park. I'll skate at the skate park for a couple hours, an hour or so, depending on the day, depending on how I feel. I'll skate for a while and then get done skateboarding, and usually I'll go over to a friend's house and do something there. Or if I'm not going to a friend's house, I usually go home. If I go to a friend's house, I usually go to a friend's house for a couple hours, then I head home, play video games, smoke some more, and fall asleep. If I'm not going to a friend's house, I usually go home, get on I get on my Xbox, play video games for a couple hours, video chat with some friends, watch some TV, support other local content creators. My favorite YouTuber is Matthias710 on YouTube. He's my favorite YouTuber. I love watching his vlogs. I love watching his product reviews, unboxing, stuff like that. Big member of the cannabis community, from what I've noticed. So I really like watching his stuff and really like, enjoying that. It's fun. I usually watch TV for a little bit. Maybe have, if I have any beer or anything, I'll have a beer. So, smoke a cigarette and usually go to bed. Usually about the time I go to bed, it's 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And I sleep for a couple hours and then I wake back up. The next question was asked by my little brother. His YouTube channel is actually The Dynamic Duo. He's currently running the channel by himself, looking for some friends, looking for more actors. He lives in Wisconsin. So if you live in Wisconsin and looking to get on YouTube, hit up my little brother. Excuse me, I got a dry throat. I don't know where my water is. Anyways, and his question is kind of a question that I get asked a lot. And it's, would you ever move out west? Now, I've lived out west for 9, 10 years. 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. And I lived in Utah. Now I used to travel Colorado, Idaho, California, Oregon, all that. And I used to have fun. But there was nothing like out west. I live in Virginia now, and honestly, it's not the best. I miss out west. If I had the money and the resources and everything I needed to, and I was doing better than I am, I'd be back out west in a heartbeat. I love it out there. And the next question here is asked by Logan Mooney. He's actually the editor for my YouTube channel. At times when I can't edit a video, or I'm too busy, or I don't have the schedule, or I'm not trying to do just a raw video, I usually have him edit them for me if I can't. And his question is, all that remains or from ashes to new? And in real honesty, Logan, not really either of those, but I can't choose, just because of the fact that I don't really know that those bands or songs very well. I never really paid attention to them. And I mean, honestly, if I listen to them, I probably know them. But in all honesty, I can't answer that question. Um, it's just a hard question, or not really a hard question. It's just a question I can't answer. I can't give you an answer on that one. The next one is the next couple ones. The next 6 questions are asked by my friend from high school, and her name's Cheyenne. And the first question she asked is, do you prefer to write in black or blue ink? In all honesty, black ink. It's easier. Blue ink kind of just throws everything off. I like black ink. Especially the rollerball black pens, gel pens. I really love those. The next question he asked is, what is the weirdest thing you have ever eaten? That's a hard one because I've eaten a lot of weird things in my life and done a lot of stupid stuff in my life. Weirdest thing I've probably eaten was an actual rock. I had a friend of mine. We were doing some stupid stuff in my past, and he dared me to do rock, and I was so out of my mind that I was like, sure, and I ate a rock, and that was probably the weirdest thing I've ever eaten. The next question she asked was, how do you show someone you love them? In all honesty, it just comes natural. I don't ever plan it out. Just for some reason, when I show someone I love them, usually it works out pretty well. I really can't give you an answer for that question just for the fact that I don't really plan anything out. I just kind of say what's on my mind or do the first thing that comes to my mind. It seems to work. So I kind of just wing it. The next question she asked was 3 things you want to teach your future children. Probably morals, personal family morals, things, and actually just morals to have in general. Respect for other people, even if they don't respect you, doesn't mean you stoop to that level. Respect everyone and treat everyone how you want to be treated. The third thing I would probably teach my children is some of the basic life skills I wish I would have known. How to change the oil in your car, how to change a flat tire, how to file taxes, how to fill out a job application, how an interview goes, stuff like that. Basic knowledge that most people don't have because common sense is apparently extinct. One thing nobody knows about you. I'm pretty much an open book, so that question's kind of hard. It's actually really kind of hard to tell something that most people don't know about me. Most people don't realize that my birth name is actually from a country music movie. And I was raised country for the most part. I grew up listening to country music and stuff like that. So I grew up like that. And that's one thing I think a lot of people don't realize about me is I grew up country. But I don't really show it and I don't really like it. The next question is 4 chapters you would include in your autobiography. The first chapter I would probably include is what started everything in my life, where all of my mental disabilities and everything came into play, and when my life kind of switched. The second chapter I would include is probably the first time I ever went into a program, any sort of program for mental health. The third one is I would probably make a whole chapter, multiple chapters, out of some of the things I did. Well, I was homeless. Some of the things I wish I would have known, some of the things I've learned, some of the things I just did, some of the fun memories I have. And the fourth question would probably be a list of my favorite shows and some of my favorite concerts that I ever went to and some of the things I did at those concerts. that was the last question asked by my friend Cheyenne. The next question is brought to us by my friend Dakota Lore, and I'm probably going to pronounce this horribly, Dakota. Onishi? Probably pronounced that horribly, but I tried. And he asks, what is your strangest habit? I don't know. Um, most of my habits are kind of strange. Um, and a lot of it I've never really noticed as a habit. Um, Probably listening to the same songs over and over again. I do tend to do that at times where I'll just find a band or find a song I like and just listen to it for weeks on end until it just seems dead to me. And then I'll give it a break and I won't listen to it for a while. And then I'll come back to it in a couple months, couple years, something like that. And I'll listen to it again and be like, man, I really listened to that. How did I listen to that? And I guess that's like my strangest habit. That or I use the, if you're old enough to remember these, you had the doorknobs that had the little hole on the outside, a little hole, and you had like a little sticker, like metal pokey thingy you could poke in it to unlock the door from the outside. And it was like bedroom doors, bathroom doors, stuff like that. Well, I take one of those, and that's how I actually scrape resin out of most of my glass. It works pretty well, but then I smoke the resin. I don't dry it out. I don't do anything to it. I literally just load the ball of resin in the glass and smoke it. Most people that I know nowadays don't really do that. They try not to. It's just gross for them. Me, if you got it and it does what it needs to, great, it works. I'm on a budget most of my life, and I can't afford most things. I'm below the poverty line. I'm poor, and I admit I'm poor. I'm broke. I have no money, nothing, and I do whatever I can, and it works out pretty well. Probably my worst habit is starting projects and never finishing it. I'll start a project and I'll get so close to finishing it, I'll stop, take a break, and I just won't go back to it. For example, my leather jacket that I wear in a lot of my posts and stuff, or you'll see it in my room at times. Um, I started working on it. I got so far on it and I stopped. I got so close to done and I stopped. And it was supposed to be, I think it was because I ran out of spikes or something, or I ran out of screwback spikes or something like that. I ran out of paint or something. I gave it a break and then I just haven't worked on it since. Um, but yeah, those are your questions that you guys sent me in today. If you guys like this video and you like me doing the question and answer videos, feel free to drop a like and a comment that you want more of these videos. I do have a Patreon. For a dollar to $3 a month, you can support me and help support the channel. Upgrade video equipment. Every piece of money that gets thrown at me via my Patreon, or people who subscribe to my Patreon, I will be taking that money and reinvesting it into the channel. It will go straight towards editing software, new computer, new camera, stuff like that. Not in that order, but that's how it's gonna go. This channel isn't just for me, it's for you guys. And I know I'm a small channel. I'm only 20 something subscribers, maybe not even 20 subscribers anymore. I don't know. Can't remember. But in all honesty, this channel isn't just for me, it's for you guys too. And I really want to continue to make more videos for you. I'm sorry I haven't been posting as frequent as I do. I'm just running into a lot of stuff and things just aren't working out the best. There's a lot going on in my life right now with family and everything, and I'm not going to go into detail on that because it's all personal, but just right now is not, the best time, and videos are going to be a little later than usual, but I'm still going to try and get them out there as much as possible. But other than that, I thank you guys for everything you've done. I appreciate everything, and I hope you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.